Hey guys, I'm back with a video series, The 7 Deadly Sins. We're going to be talking about is the GPK community moral? We're going to be looking at three facets. So basically, is Tops moral as a company? Is our GPK hobby, I'm talking about you and me as like friends and a community, like even well, this just came in today. So I'm just going to open this for starters. Yeah, this is a GPK item that I lusted for. But yeah, guys, hope you're having or had a good weekend. Ready for the new week. We should be seeing the first cards from Sapphire 2. And you talk about lust. There's going to be some people really struggling this week with lust when they see those Sapphire 2, and morals will fail. People that were holding off because they were trying to be decent people, and not drive up the market, are going to just lose all control. Okay, this is a really cool. This is a 1987 Dankin. If I can get the little bastard open. Yeah, this is a 1987 Dankin doorknob holder. This would just go over a doorknob. Oh, lust. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. But anyway, yeah, I actually have one more of these. But yeah, I could not pass another one up because I just have this lust in my heart when I see GPK toys, and I just have to buy them, even if I already have them. Which also is a type of gluttony that we'll talk about tomorrow. That's tomorrow's topic, is gluttony. So be thinking about the 7 deadly sins, and think about our hobby in general. And as a community, as a hobby, are we moral? And so I want to ask you guys to pull out your Bibles. Just kidding. Your Abrams. The very first card we come to, I think, is a very lustful card. This could have very well been the mascot of GPK. I mean, it was the first card they put in the set. Nasty Nick here is definitely having some sort of sexual connection with the Barbie doll. Vampires are associated with sexual desire. And right off the bat, we're seeing the first cardinal sin of lust on the very first fucking card. One thing you'll notice while we go through Garbage Pail Kids this week is they represent all the different sins of life. Like, for example, this would be gluttony. And so, but today, let's just focus on lust. I mean, if you want to jump ahead and be thinking about the other sins, let me go ahead and give them to you. And you can be thinking about this: lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, and pride. But yeah, when you're talking about lust, the immediate, most obvious thought is sexual desire. So, and you can see it firsthand. You're seeing a vampire basically suck this doll's neck, and she's smiling, and there's some pleasure being exchanged there. So, when you look at Garbage Pail Kids, these are not, mainstream dolls. These are not Cabbage Patch Kids anymore. They've kind of deviated down into sinful behaviors or things being done to them by sinful things. So, evidence of lust. Man, I definitely see some we'll have to come back to when we're talking about these other ones like pride and even I'm sorry, I lost it. Even Ashcan Andy has a little fucking pride on his face. Oh, goodness me. Okay. So anyway, so yeah, I think, I think tops definitely, I think we all have an issue with tops, morally. I'm talking about, this is what today's topic is really about. It's about the morals. So when, I think a lot of us deep down, we have an issue with tops, man, because it seems like, here we go. It seems like they lack like general ethics, like when it comes to collectors. Like it just feels like sometimes they just taking pure fucking advantage of us. Like this gonna sound harsh, but don't you sometimes feel like you were raped by tops? So when you're talking about lust and the theme of sexual desire, there does just seem to be this, we're in this relationship with tops, but man, it just feels like they're definitely more powerful than we are, and they're not afraid to exert their power over us in a very, I mean, not, sexual way, but it just seems like they're using their power, and they're kind of like also using our desire against us, which is another form of lust. Anyway, I want to go back in here and see if there's any more lustful OS1 characters. I mean, obviously gluttony is going to be easy to find in Garbage Pail Kids. I always thought Bonnie Joni had a little lustful look in her face. I mean, first of all, she's naked. Okay. She's holding up her panties or her diaper. And, if her hand wasn't here, her diaper would fall off and you would see what used to be, her genitals. And there's something about her smile, and she's waving to you, which is a very, like an invitation to come talk to her or come do whatever, whatever y'all want to do. But just something about Bonnie Joni has a little, low-key sexual vibe to it. Might just be me. And we get to Frigid Bridget. Frigid talks about, the inability to have sex. So if you call a girl frigid, that means they're cold, or like they're not warming up to you sexually. And I even knew this when I was a kid. I actually knew what frigid meant because I used to read constantly. And when I saw this card, I'll never forget, I was, in elementary school. I knew exactly the joke here, that she wasn't able to perform sex. She was, cold sexually. As we go through cards, or I'm not going to go through a bunch of cards, but I'm saying, like, as you go through cards and as you look at Garbage Pail Kids, be looking for lust. Okay, that's today's topic. And the general theme is Garbage Pail Kids is not very moral at all. And I think my mom had a very good point, especially when she saw Hot Scott and threw away my cards, or tried to throw away my Garbage Pail Kids cards. She did not want me, her son, to have anything else to do with these immoral images. So yeah, I don't see, honestly, I'm a little surprised. I didn't see that much lust as I thought I would. I didn't really prepare for today's little discussion, honestly, but let's just see if OS2 has more lustful themes. Here we see a dog who is lusting after a fire hydrant. Notice the fire hydrant's painted peach, like the color of, Caucasian flesh. And there's hearts here, so there's a little bit of lust here. Plus, to see a tongue is very sexual, right? Without the tongue, it would have lost a lot of the sexuality of the piece, right? But since Pound put the tongue in, it adds a little more sexual flavor to the design. But yeah, I think just overall, I'm just going to go ahead and answer the main inquiry. Is Garbage Pail Kids immoral? Absolutely, man. Garbage Pail Kids never led me to Christ, honestly. It never led me back to God. It always kind of led me off track. Here we even see, look, the first fucking one I turned to, this guy's obviously immoral, or behaving immorally, I don't know. Yeah, but today's topic, lust, there is some lustful themes in Garbage Pail Kids, which you're not going to see much because that is very cringy if you think about it. when you're thinking about little dolls and you're thinking about little children, you don't want to think about sex. I mean, child pornography is never cool in any, or never funny. It's probably the one thing you can't truly joke about. So yeah, but there is some like undercurrents of sexuality. Here we have a cave woman dragging a caveman around, exerting her power. That's more like, I don't know. That might be a different sin, right? Yeah. So as you thinking about Tops, the company, and our hobby, there is a lot of lust. Let me just go ahead and say it. There's a lot of lust. There's a lot of people really desiring, just in an unbalanced way for this stuff, and I think it's a real problem. So, what is the answer to lust? Does anybody know? What is the so if lust is over here, what's on the polar opposite? Chastity. Chastity is on the other opposite. So let me tell you, most of us, we know what lust means. That's like sexual desire. You know, I know all you dirty-minded perverts out there, you know what lust means, but chastity is self-control. Controlling your passions. Let me ask you, are you able personally to control your spending? I've always had trouble with that. This is something, I just came in today. I have another one back in my storage area. I didn't need this. There's no reason for me to have this. Greed got in the way. Lust got in the way. A little bit of gluttony. You could say a little bit of gluttony. Maybe a little bit of pride as well, because as a toy guy, I got to have it all, right? So that's going to be the topics running through the next several days. We're going to be going through all the deadly sins. The major thing I want you guys to be thinking about is Garbage Pail Kids moral? We all know probably where this is going. It's not, right? But let's unpack that a little deeper. But yeah, lust, man, it's weird to think about Garbage Pail Kids in a sexual terms, but there is sort of this idea that people are out there getting fucked in the hobby, and not fucked, but like fucked. And there's just an idea that Tops is even fucking us, and they know what they're doing about it. They're actually doing this on purpose, and man. So I think lust is present, but as we go through the deadly sins, there's going to be some other sins that when we get to them, you really think about them, it's going to blow your fucking mind. So my conclusion today, Garbage Pail Kids is not very lustful. Again, it's kind of cringy to think about kid products in any sort of sexual terms. If I'm having to frame Heartless Hal in a sexual term, now I'm grossed out because I see this Cupid, basically the god of love or whatever, and now he's naked. I'm now getting kind of creeped out by my own theme. Now we got men ripping their shirts off. This is getting, it's cringy. Now I'm seeing everybody with shirts off at this point. So that's kind of what you got to do. You kind of got to get in this frame of mind. Okay, let me find lust. Deviant, perverted, dirty lust. And you will find it in Garbage Pail Kids. You will find it. You definitely will find it. One thing we could compare, we're not going to do it, or I'm not going to do it, is we could compare old GPK with new GPK. Is new GPK becoming more moral, or are we going even deeper, further away from God? I would say we're getting further away. John Pound seems to be seems to be a very decent guy. Like, there's no way of us knowing that for sure, but from his interviews, Pound always seemed very decent, He even said he was always trying to make these kids look good. Like, he wanted them to be very presentable to children. So I don't think John Pound had any, malice or ill intention for children. But I think overall, we can make a case that Garbage Pail Kids is not moral, that Tops is not moral. I can make a case that the GPK hobby is not even moral. And I can definitely say for myself that when I'm collecting Garbage Pail Kids, I'm less moral. And I'm actually further away from God. This is a crazy topic. Get ready. Tomorrow's gluttony. It's going to get crazy. Russ Van out. Now I'm ready to go fuck.